Sweet. I see he's up here. Hey, Tyler.
Let me try. I've never actually successfully done it, but no time like the present.
Yeah, if you go to that channel all the way at the bottom, Tyler, and run that command that you see there, I just don't have the rights to run it, but I do see it down there.
Hunt just wrote in the stage chat that he's recording it.
Cool.
Okay. A different way. Okay, cool.
And thanks, Neverwills. Yeah, anyone please feel free to interrupt, raise your hand. Also, in a little while, I see you're here now. I'm glad you were able to make it. Definitely want to talk about the KPI, UMA KPI options at some point.
Yeah, I'm up here as much to encourage others to, come up and talk. But yeah. Happy to go over that. We have a chance to.
Awesome. Appreciate it. You're an inspiration. Come hang out on the stage, you guys. It's fun up here. All right. So yeah, let's just take a step back and look at all of the completed tokenomics initiatives that have already taken place just in the first 2.5 months of ShapeShift DAO's existence. So first, the fair drop. This was a proposal from a community member to do a follow-up airdrop that has passed, and not only did the proposal pass, but the engineering workstream helped execute it. That was successful. Also, Bancor one-sided Fox liquidity providing with impermanent loss protection. This was not a proposal on our end, but a proposal on Bancor governance. And that passed and was successful and resulted in them allocating 100,000 Bancor tokens to be co-invested, is the term they use, alongside Fox deposits. Anyone have any questions around like the Bancor one-sided Fox liquidity providing? It's live right now, and I see there's about like $500,000 of liquidity there. Last time I checked, there's still space for more Fox deposits. So you can deposit Fox one-sided. You don't need to pair it with anything, and you'll start earning fees from trades. When I checked yesterday, the yield was 2%. So not the most amazing yield in this DeFi world, but definitely better than what the banks will give you. And it comes with impermanent loss protection. So you don't have to worry about impermanent loss that you might get from providing to a two-sided pool. Also, Sushi and Matic liquidity mining on SushiGon launched. So I call it SushiGon is my nickname for SushiSwap and Polygon. This is also really exciting. So you can go provide Fox and Week liquidity on SushiSwap on Polygon, and you will earn Sushi and Matic rewards. This one was super cool because it didn't cost us any Fox, but I do want to give a shout out to Grey Machine for the excellent GIF he made. Really, the only ask from the Sushi team was that we help market it. I think we did a great job with that. And the cool thing about that is it also gives anyone on Matic the ability to buy and sell Fox without paying ETH mainnet gas fees, which was a hot topic in the general channel today. It's really awesome that we were able to get not only this liquidity mining going, but it also brought Fox liquidity onto Polygon, which right now is one of the top side chains for Ethereum. We passed a proposal for liquidity mining round 2. And again, not only did this proposal pass, but it was implemented by the product and engineering work streams. This is pretty cool because it was kind of the first feature that went from conception to development to shipping all through DAO work streams without centralized ShapeShift needing to be involved. That was really awesome to see. Great work, everyone there. That one was important too because there was a sense of urgency. We really wanted to make sure that round 2 was ready to go before round 1 ended. So great work, everyone involved with that. And then also tomorrow, Fox Bonds on Olympus Pro will be launching. It's the latest tokenomics initiative, something that we're really excited about. And we will be having an AMA actually in the Olympus DAO this afternoon, right after this call. John, Eric, and I are going to head over to the Olympus DAO community to answer any questions they have. And then we'll be doing another AMA with their community in the ShapeShift Discord tomorrow, so that everyone can get a good understanding of how to use these new bonds that are available to Fox holders, or rather Fox ETH liquidity pool token holders. I'll stop there because I've been talking for a bit. Any questions on any of these completed tokenomics initiatives?
No questions. Just excited of how many of these things are moving forward, especially this week. I feel like one thing the tokenomics work stream should be discussing, or just the DAO in general, as we learn more over these next few months. Once we have this new liquidity mining program live, the airdrop ends, and we have bonds open for a little bit, and we're looking at things like Tokenomics, is just, we should start thinking ahead at some point. We're not there yet with the new program just starting today, but sometime over the next few months, we need to get an idea of like, what do we do when this next program ends, this next 4.5 month program? do we do another smaller liquidity mining program? That would be kind of the default answer if we think it's necessary, or should we start thinking that some of these other things, like the bonds, like if we get a token reactor, might actually be better long-term solutions, and we should actually stop liquidity mining or drastically reduce it? It's a really interesting question that I certainly don't have the answer to.
Yes, I love that, and I thought I had it in here somewhere. Thinking the exact same thing, John. Basically, that is one of the next things that we need to figure out. Liquidity mining round 3 or alternatives. This is just a copy from the original slide deck. Updated it, but I agree. And if anyone else, like, that is a big part of this. What I want to get out of this office hours is like, what are the things that are on the horizon that we should be getting ahead of and researching them. And similarly too, like this reminded me of that. G-Uni from Gelato was a proposal around future Uniswap v3 liquidity mining, and he is actually interested. DeFi Dave is interested in joining us at the next office hours to give kind of a deeper dive into G-Uni. So also trying to figure out, just what are the most urgent and relevant and important tokenomics initiatives for us to be exploring, and how can we schedule that when there's all these different initiatives and stuff, and the space evolving alongside us. How can we plan this well and make sure that we're getting enough information to make informed decisions and stuff, and at the same time not overwhelming ourselves with with 5 tokenomics calls every single day, right? So just striking that balance. But I agree that getting ahead of the next round of liquidity mining, and not only thinking about the next round of liquidity mining, but thinking about that in relation to these new liquidity mining opportunities and protocols that are being launched as we speak, I think is a really good initiative.
I jumped up here to just because
Pete, we can barely hear you. I can hear you very quietly.
Oh my God, is it better now?
No.
Jesus, it's always this. What is going on? Is that better?
No. It's maybe a little bit better, but probably still quiet for most people.
Holy crap. I turned up my own volume. I'm so sorry. One sec. How about now? Do I just talk really loud? If I talk really loud, does that change things?
Maybe if you yell and if people right click and increase
change. Dude, what is going on? Oh my God, I feel like such an asshat. Come on, why can't I figure this out?
User settings, voice and audio,
voice and video, input volume. Input volume is all the way to the max.
I'll just turn you up locally. I can hear you okay.
Yeah, you don't sound bad, Pete. You're a little far. You're a little far. We can hear you fine. So go ahead.
Wanted to ask at this office hours that it would be really helpful, specifically in regards to this, like the next step after this liquidity mining proposal, to actually have some feedback from the tokenomics workstream in order to help, I think, the DAO make decisions, right? Because I have my own idea, right? If I had to vote right now, I love the idea of the DAO owning its own liquidity, and so I would vote to try to incentivize people selling their liquidity tokens to the DAO through the Olympus DAO program, right? Not only does that keep us really relevant on this exciting new bond platform, but also, deepens our own liquidity versus mercenary liquidity. But that may not be actually what's most beneficial. I'm not a tokenomics expert. It would be super, super helpful if there was a rank order almost of this is kind of most helpful for the DAO for these reasons, and this is most helpful for the DAO for these reasons, so that there could be sort of a conversation, or at least some sort of starting point that people can start, like myself, who are trying to learn as quick as possible, but won't be up to speed as best as I probably should be, to help understand because I want to vote for the thing that's going to help the DAO the most. What should we should be incentivizing things that makes the DAO the strongest, that brings the most value to our users, brings the most value to the DAO, and a little help identifying what those might be would be hugely beneficial for me.
Yeah, I like that. And that's perfect feedback for kind of this meta tokenomics topic. How can the tokenomics work stream best serve the DAO? And I think we don't really, the funny thing is that we don't really have we have a work stream, but it's kind of a shell of a work stream, right? It's I'm there, I'm doing everything I can to support it and to make sure we're not dropping balls. But also, it's not like my main focus right now. And but I'm not sure. Like, what does the optimal tokenomics workstream look like for the DAO? So I want to talk about that. And yeah, to your point, Pete, I think it's really awesome that we've been doing all these community calls with the actual protocols themselves. I think that's been really helpful. And from what I've seen, every time we've done one of those calls, a lot of the community members, even those that are not tokenomics experts, are really able to learn a lot, which is great for our community, where we're all leveling up and upgrading our skills, and just get a much better understanding of if it's a good decision. But yeah, I think that is definitely a good role for the tokenomics workstream, is like, how can we take these complex topics and make them easier for the average community member to understand, and also give them as much information as we can without overwhelming them to make an informed voting decision.
Yeah, and maybe we could partner on that. The marketing growth work stream is looking to bring writers on board to do this sort of thing. But a perfect example of a way we could do this in a more concrete way is I was reading and trying to figure out voting in boardroom about the Uni V3 proposal that was in there. And I didn't quite understand what it was, but then people that I trust said this is probably not something the DAO should be working on right now. And it would be awesome if the tokenomics workstream, even if the marketing growth workstream, once we're fully, we've got some more people onboarded and we're fully ready, we could supply the writer if they could just talk to somebody on that workstream, or just somebody in the know, and just have a reasoning as this is probably why we shouldn't do this right now, or why is the 1-inch range token something we should be doing, which I still kind of don't understand very well, right? I think that I'd be super interested in partnering in that way, just so there's just greater DAO knowledge, and that could set us apart from other DAOs as sort of hey, we're trying to help everybody make awesome informed decisions instead of sort of figure it out yourself.
I relate to that. Even with my validator proposal and stuff, I would love to give more information, but I don't even know what people don't know. So I'd love to help writing an article that would go on our blog or something about it too. So just that, it resonated with me right there.
Yeah, and definitely the things that are going live for sure. If for these things that are completed and we've decided to go, I definitely think there's opportunity for the tokenomics workstream to be both a filter for all these different initiatives, helping to distill what are the most important and give good information. Then also, yeah, would love to work with the marketing workstream once any of these things are completed and passed, to get a really good blog post out, which we've been doing. But that's clear to both our internal community and the broader community, because these tokenomics initiatives are very exciting things. And the more we can get the broader crypto community aware of all of this amazing tokenomics stuff happening in the DAO, I think the better for the Fox ecosystem. All right. Unless there's any comments on that topic, I want to keep moving through so we can get to the upcoming initiatives and have a good discussion there. Also, just wanted to highlight, we've had 4 past revenue share proposals already through the DAO, which is really, really exciting to see. This is super important for tokenomics, and cool to see that we've already got kind of a nice variety of different use cases here. So perp protocol integration with affiliate revenue will give users the ability to trade and go long and short with leverage. That's a popular use case for crypto users that will generate revenue for us. Also, the Cosmos validator, which will hopefully be the first of many validators, but also that, along with the Yearn integration, which has not gone up for proposal yet, but is part of the product roadmap proposal, does include affiliate revenue. So both of those will give users the ability to earn yield, which is another really popular use case for crypto that will generate revenue for the DAO. And we've also got this YAT integration, which is a cool username revenue stream, and then the ShapeShift merch store. So even just buying swag can actually generate revenue for the DAO. Really excited for these that have already passed and to see more revenue share proposals in the future. All right, any questions about any of these? Or if not, we will move over to the in-progress tokenomics initiatives. Just wanted to highlight the things that are currently active. Right now, primarily, we have this One Fox proposal, which is live in governance. It's got majority support right now, but needs more votes to get to quorum. Please check that out and vote if you have not yet. Also, the Fox Success Token with UMA is an ideation. In fact, do we have, Josh, are you on the call, and would you be willing to give us an update on the latest with the Success Token?
Hello, I'm here. And so we have a one page. We created a one pager. Like we got really clear on things. Created like a marketing kind. Well, not I don't know a presentation one pager to be able to show investors as to why they would be interested in it. Whereas the previous one pager from UMA was kind of explain the benefits to the DAO and to token holders. So we did that. Put some models in place with some different Fox token prices, and then I reached out. Oh, Willie, also we used your presentation from when you did the roadmap for like where ShapeShift is going. So it's kind of like, here's why you'd be interested in ShapeShift, and then here's how you can be interested in ShapeShift. And and I was just talking to Dutch about it earlier. It must have been that I knew this meeting was coming up, although consciously that was not on my mind. Dutch isn't here, is he? Is he in the? No. So, and he said that he's contacted. He's got one person in particular that he wants to approach in as like a feedback, not as like a I want to sell you on this, but get feedback. Do you think this could work? And so he's made contact with that person, and I don't know what kind of feedback he's gotten back. And that's where it is. So it's a lot more of a non-answer than I'd like to give, but that's the honest truth.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Josh, if there's anything we could do, and I don't know that there is right now, but if we can get together maybe and figure out from the UMA side how we can help push this forward, I'd be more than happy to spend that time with you.
Yeah, maybe it's worth. I will follow up with Dutch here, try to get a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure what some of these messages from him mean, so I'll get clarity on that and then offer the last time that we all had a chat, me and Dutch and you and some of the folks from UMA, it was super helpful. And I know that I've got a call with Sean and Chandler tomorrow, and maybe I could just get Dutch to join that. That might be great. So appreciate it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Appreciate you both. That was a great update too. I think it's good for the community just to know where this currently stands, and awesome to see that a lot of progress has been made, even though right now we're kind of stuck in this feedback process. I think the goal, right, is to make sure that before we launch this token and put up all this collateral, that we've structured the success token in a way that is interesting to investors, and that we actually will get this stable coin. Also, just worth noting too that we don't even have this much Fox in the treasury right now anyways, because we just did the round 2 liquidity mining as well as the Olympus Pro program. But on October 23rd, we will have this much and more Fox available. So yeah, not like you guys are holding anything back right now, in fact, and looking forward to hearing how the feedback from the investors goes. Appreciate the offer to help support from the UMA side too in a little while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd love to see too if we do get some interest from some investors, what they might have to offer Fox and ShapeShift.
Totally, yeah, that is one of the exciting things when you get the best investors. Not only do they give you money, but they give you help. In fact, that reminds me too. I remember I heard at IMCON about this Korean investment group, basically, where they pool a lot of funds together. It's like a few hundred investors, and I think they only invest like 25K. They don't invest huge checks, but basically, once they invest, you get this whole community of really active contributors that want to help support the ecosystem. So that is a really good point. All right, and then just the in-progress proposal for revenue share. There's an on Juno integration and affiliate revenue live. This would be another great affiliate revenue service to add to our growing list, because on Juno is a fiat on and off ramp. So one of the other most popular things that crypto users want to do that could generate revenue for the DAO. So please, if you haven't yet, go check this out and cast your vote. All right, now the fun stuff, the upcoming tokenomics initiatives. And I want to add to this too, the UMA KPI options. I would love to just like while you're here in a little, I'll give a little overview of what those are. But yeah, here is the current list that I have of all the things, all the conversations and discussions that I know are going on. And as mentioned, I'm sure this is an incomplete list. So if anyone sees any important tokenomics initiatives that should be on here, please mention them so we can add them. In the meantime, we will just go from the top to the bottom. So I think one of the upcoming discussions is around a Fox and Honey token swap and joint liquidity providing. This one is super cool. Let me see if I can pull up this forum post real quick. So it was a suggestion from the OneHive community. This all came from, if you guys remember, we had a community call with them about a month ago. And one of the topics was HoneySwap, which is a Uniswap fork on XDAI, and a potential liquidity mining program to incentivize Fox liquidity on XDAI. The reason that Fox liquidity on XDAI is interesting to the DAO is that Colony, right now where contributors are getting paid, is on XDAI. So when you get paid on Colony, you get paid Fox on XDAI. You can either bridge it to mainnet, but that can cost 0.03 ETH, or you can do whatever you want with it, including potentially being able to access Fox liquidity on XDAI without having to pay mainnet fees. So initially we were looking at liquidity mining, and this is relevant to the liquidity mining 2.0 topic. An alternative to liquidity mining was, we could spend $100,000 of Fox on incentivizing liquidity, right? And then we'd only get, so much liquidity for so long until those rewards run out. Or in this case, what we're going to try out, if the community supports it once the proposal comes up, which I think will be soon. There is a post in our forum right now where you can signal support for this in ideation. So yeah, the proposal will basically say, hey, Fox token holders, do we want to swap $100,000 worth of Fox for Honey? And if both DAOs approve, then we'll do the swap. And then both DAOs will deposit the $200,000 of Fox and Honey liquidity that they have in their treasury onto HoneySwap, which will result in $400,000 of new liquidity in this pool. And will also result in the DAOs diversifying its balance sheet a little bit, because the DAO will actually own this liquidity and will earn fees whenever a user trades on this pool. Really excited for this. I thought it was a really creative alternative to liquidity mining. It doesn't mean we can't do liquidity mining on XDAI, but I'm really excited because it's a novel experiment. It definitely seems like there's some benefits over liquidity mining. And if it works well, we can do another follow-up with the OneHive DAO to do another token swap. And we can also consider doing token swaps with other DAOs, which is especially relevant, again, if it's like another DAO on another sidechain to Ethereum. Again, we could either try and do a liquidity mining program there and have users deposit it, or we can potentially just, if both DAOs have their own token, they can just pull those together to create liquidity.
Yeah, I'll just add in, I really like this idea of this experiment and trying these, call it token swaps with joint liquidity provision with, certainly with HoneySwap to start, and then maybe with other DAOs even, if the experiment goes well. I think it's kind of like another form of protocol-owned liquidity, like what we're going to be trying here starting tomorrow with the Olympus bonds. So I think that's another cool way that the DAO may be able to create and own some of its own liquidity without adding any additional sell pressure or token emissions to the market. So it's definitely worth the experiment, in my opinion.
Agreed. Well said. And you can see right now there's support in their forum for doing this. And there's a lot of support for doing a $250,000 swap initially. But the way that OneHive's governance works is that the larger the expenditure on a proposal, the more conviction is required for that proposal to pass. So once you get up to $250,000, it starts to become pretty difficult to get those proposals to pass, whereas it's much easier at the $100,000 level right now. So I think the support right now is to start with 100,000 and then follow up with another proposal for 250K. Any questions on that token swap? Any comments? Cool. John, sorry to put you on the spot, but I know there's this Rari Fuse pool discussion that you got started just yesterday. Would you be willing to give a quick TLDR on that?
Yeah. So I just got to talking with one of the folks over at Rari, the project I've been learning a little bit about and paying more attention to over this last weekend. So I started to talk to them a bit. and they're interested in working with us. And it looks like basically Rari is almost like it's almost like create your own, liquidity pools, kind of like not liquidity pools is not the right word. Liquidity markets, kind of like Aave or a compound, but anyone can put them up, and you can create these kind of isolated pools. And so this might be an option to allow Fox to be collateralized and have stable coins loaned against it, and to create, good opportunities for people to put in assets. I mean, if something like the One Fox proposal started or went through, we could even put something like that in there. But the main goal here would be allowing people to take loans against their Fox. If we put this up, and yeah, kind of as it's noted, this is just kind of an informal discussion going on with their team right now, but I'm pretty bullish on the idea, and basically might just talk with a few folks and see if we can just get up an initial pool. There's nothing that would be required of the DAO or needed on the governance side for us to try this. In the future, if we like this, it might be the sort of thing where we want to actually add incentives for people, especially to add stable coins to the pool, and things like that. That might be cool. Basically, if you got paid some sort of Fox rewards for putting stable coins in the pool in order to help create liquidity, but maybe we won't even need that. I'm not sure. So I think it's worth a shot. And the cool thing about this in particular is they'll work with us and have a way that we could do this with a Oracle via the Uniswap V2 pool, using a kind of a volume weighted average bot that they have for those pools. So it doesn't require a Chainlink Oracle yet, which has been our big blocker on a lot of those other types of markets. So yeah, that's the general idea. Going to keep exploring it, but yeah, that's the concept. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. And I'm glad you brought this to our awareness, John. I had actually thought that Rari was like an NFT thing. I think I got them confused with Rarible, so I never really looked into what they were doing. But it's super cool. And yeah, appreciate the quick overview, and appreciate you running through this and getting the conversation going, and potentially even making this happen without a DAO proposal. Definitely, I know Fox lending and borrowing is one of the big missing pieces of it's a money Lego that's missing for Fox right now. And as John mentioned, the other leading lending protocols all require a Chainlink Oracle, and we've been pushing on that, but it's something that's slightly out of our control, because what they would like to see is Fox on more exchanges, basically, with some more volume before they'll get a Chainlink price Oracle. So, something that we will hopefully get eventually, but until then, this seems like a really great option for giving users the ability to lend and borrow Fox. So excited to hear how these discussions go. I was looking into Rari last night. They're super cool. All right. And then are there any questions on the Rari Fuse pools, even though it's at an early stage in the discussion? Cool. Well, we'd love to talk about these UMA KPI options, which is another money Lego that could be available to the DAO if we so choose to move forward with it. And it's pretty customizable. So I'd like to pass it over to in a little while, just to give us an overview of the UMA KPI options and how the DAO could potentially utilize them.
Thanks, Willie. Yeah, thanks for having me up here to talk about this. I didn't want to jump off and then jump back up. So for those that don't know, the whole Super Uman community, which we've grown pretty large now, was built and brought together by the creation of our own KPI options. And the way that these basically work is they're an expiring product. So we run them in quarterly. We run them in three-month batches. And they expire worth, you can have them expire worth nothing, or you can set a small floor value, and then they have a maximum value. And that's basically what they expire, or how much they expire worth, depends on a predetermined metric that the DAO would talk about and choose. And it would track that. And so it would incentivize anyone who is a holder of these KPI options to work towards that goal. Now, if the goal isn't fully reached, then that box would be returned upon expiry. And these contracts are fully collateralized, so you don't have to worry about liquidation or anything like that. I know Willie, he had thrown out the idea of revenue as a KPI, which I thought was just an excellent idea off the top, when I first heard it. But of course, I know everybody would want to be interested in this discussion, and there may be some other good ideas too. So I just want to get the ball rolling on it and encourage participation and thought if it's something that people are interested in.
Super cool. It's just another really awesome and interesting new primitive that Uma has created. And it's been really cool to see you guys use it yourself, eat your own dog food, and see some other examples of KPI options. If anyone's familiar with Dig is one. This was my second experience. I got the Uma KPI option drop, and that was pretty cool too. So you guys like airdropped a bunch of these options, right? And then it was now anyone who holds these options is now incentivized to help grow Uma TVL. And it did result in Uma TVL growing. So anyone who held these options ended up getting some Uma tokens basically at the end of it. And that was an awesome experiment. You guys did the airdrop, right? Airdrop those options.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Uma did or Dig did those, but those were definitely Uma built KPI options. The ones that built the Super Uma community, yeah, it was like 7,000. It was a really wide target, and we realized it was too wide. So the distribution is also a part of it, right? And who do you want to get these in the hands of, and who might want to come and help out, but as well as people who are already here, I would imagine.
So yeah, typically the options are basically like sent to or claimable by a specific list that the DAO could determine. Do people ever like sell the options? Obviously you could, right?
Yeah, so in our second round, we didn't have any liquidity that was built around them, but in our first round, there was, and it didn't really take off too much. So we haven't seen too much of that use case. But then again, now of course we are kind of offering them as a liquidity mining 2.0 product as well. So that's another option, the way that the DAO could go about using them and employing these.
Oh, it's super cool how all these different primitives can fit together. And yeah, I totally see it. You could totally liquidity mine KPI options. It's really fascinating. So yeah, I thought this is a really interesting concept from Uma, and I've definitely seen it work effectively. The example I was trying to pull up, it looks like it's not loading, was Dig. I was a Dig holder. It's been one of my worst trades ever, and I'm underwater on this trade and have refused to sell at a loss basically. But something that really helped was when Dig partnered with Uma to do these KPI options. It was the best that Dig has ever performed, basically. And Dig had the longest positive rebase streak that it's ever had by far. So it was pretty clear that these KPI options had a big impact on that. So the cool idea, if we were to do it with revenues, or like in a little while says, if any on-chain, any metric that we could get on-chain, we could potentially use as the KPI that would determine whether or not the options are worth anything. But yeah, if we did it on revenues, for example, then now, anyone that we decide to give these options to, which would obviously be like community members, would now be incentivized to help grow the DAO's revenues. And they could do that by using ShapeShift for all these revenue generating activities, or they could, come up with new ways to increase ShapeShift's revenues. And, if the revenues increase, then wouldn't we be happy to pay out some Fox if we hit some goal, some KPI that the DAO is interested in? That's kind of the idea here.
Yeah, if you hit the max, then it could end up being a good payout that the DAO is given, but it's worth it, right? Because you wanted to get to that point anyway. So it's really cool. But another thing, we're working on all sorts of stuff over, in the camp that my other foot's in, and with the superhumans, and it's cool. We're trying to figure out how we can, really help promote, the communities that end up working with us, and almost becoming a part of them too, and doing what we can to help whoever we partner with.
Love that. So are these the right questions that we would want to answer? So what would the best KPI and goal for that KPI be? Who gets the options and how much Fox to allocate?
I would think that would be a perfect starting point. Absolutely, and see if we can get some feedback. What would be the most effective, really, to help grow the protocol. And it's also good to keep in mind that because you run them in time periods, you have a chance to evaluate the metrics you've chosen. Like, for example, we switched because we picked TVL, total value lock, for our first metric, and then we decided that that wasn't maybe getting the results that we wanted, and it wasn't rewarding because the market fell, and then that ended up crashing the value of our options too, right? Something that was kind of out of our control.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that people were also getting rewarded, and the second round we switched it and we went to a number of integrations. So you could play with this too, right? It doesn't have to always, if you find that you didn't maybe pick the best metric to start with, you can change it.
Yeah, it's super helpful context for sure. So yeah, looking forward. Thanks for the overview in a little while. And sounds like we've got some good next steps for if we wanted to continue brainstorming this. And this will all be, go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions? People feel free to we have our UMA channel down there. Feel free to ping me and ask, and I'm happy to be a part of this.
Awesome. Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing what the best KPI option we could design would look like.
Cool. I'm going to run off the stage now.
Cool. Thanks for joining. All right. And then another topic, John mentioned this earlier, is just the next round of liquidity mining, right? And making sure that we plan ahead. We've got 4.5 months now before we need to have either a follow-on extension or decide, hey, maybe we don't need liquidity mining at this point, or maybe instead of liquidity mining, we want to instead explore more of these liquidity mining 2.0 so-called opportunities. Definitely will be a hot topic for Tokenomics workstream going forward. And I'm excited to get to the next slides where we can talk about what is the best way for us to go about figuring that out. Oh, I see my Zoom just ended. I am sorry. My premium Zoom expired earlier today. So I will need to renew that. In the meantime,
you did share the link though to the slides. So anyone who's following along, just go scroll up in stage chat and click the slides link, and we're on slide 5 right now.
Oh, perfect. 6, yeah.
6. We just moved to 6.
Or did we? Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're on 5. You're right. Thanks, John. Cool. So other hot topics is the future of Fox benefits. Danielle gave a great overview of this last week, and basically Fox benefits, it's not all Fox benefits, but the Fox rewards really specifically. Let me just clarify that, future of Fox rewards. So programs like Rainfall and like Fox Back on Trades and Fox Fuel program are going to be coming to an end. Those are currently run by centralized ShapeShift, and with centralized ShapeShift dissolving, centralized ShapeShift, of course, can not continue running those. So it's up to the DAO whether or not those will continue, or just what the future of Fox rewards will look like. In that, I think we have another meeting scheduled to discuss that and just brainstorm with the community. Also gave an overview in that last call that Danielle led that was recorded of what a decentralized future reward program could look like. So
yeah, and I know something I'm really interested in on this front, and I know Elmut had actually suggested something in the forum probably 6 to 8 weeks ago now about a potential decentralized rainfall program or something like it. Something that I've seen be really successful in some of these other young DAO projects is like something where you can stake the token and get some sort of protocol revenue reward. So if we look forward to hopefully over the next few months, we've got a couple different revenue streams opening up for the DAO. Like maybe a cool thing to do to let people to do with their Fox would be like develop a staking contract where like every month the DAO gets, or every 2 weeks or some period of time, the DAO takes X portion of its revenue, buys Fox with it, and then distributes that to stakers or even another coin or something. But I like the idea of like some portion of revenue being allocated to people like doing some sort of staking with their Fox would be a cool thing. And I'm not necessarily talking about LPing and staking. I'm talking about maybe even just like a single-sided staking contract. Some protocols do like this. Just an idea but certainly up for other ideas. But been thinking about that one a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea and definitely something that we've seen work well for other projects. And again, gives people a really good reason to hold Fox once they have it and stake it. And so I like that. And the other big topic that we talked about, John, I don't think you're on that call, was just the macro possibility for users to earn Fox whenever they do any revenue generating activity on ShapeShift on any chain. So not necessarily paying out DAO revenues to buy Fox and then pay those to holders, but instead basically the DAO being able to pay up to 1-to-1 whatever it receives in revenues as Fox tokens to the individual user who's actually generating that revenue for the DAO.
Yeah, it's a cool concept too.
Looking forward to collaborating with the whole community to figure out what's the optimal feature of Fox rewards. How can we leverage these Fox to really incentivize the activity we want and to bootstrap the network effects that are going to be so important to achieving our vision. Another upcoming initiative that we had a great call about earlier today is a Fox token reactor on Tokenomics. If you are interested in tokenomics and you did not see that call, you're not familiar with Tokenomics, definitely encourage you to check them out. It falls into the category of liquidity mining 2.0. And sounding like Fox will be eligible to be in the next core voting period, basically, that Tokenomics will do. But whether or not we can launch a token reactor, only the top 5 projects selected by the toke holders will get supported. So something we're interested in, but it's going to be fierce competition to get into the next round.
I don't 100% know if that will be the rules for the second event or not. They said it might be different, but that was the rules for the first event.
Oh, cool. So it might be more than 5 projects get accepted. Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, don't know.
Cool. Another upcoming initiative is utilizing GUnit for future Uniswap v3 liquidity mining program. This was posted by DeFi Dave. It actually ended up slipping through the ideation.
Hey, Willie.
Hey.
Sorry, can I go back to the Tokenomics topic for a minute, or do you want to keep proceeding?
No, yeah, let's go back to Tokenomics, please.
Okay. So when is this next round of votes happening?
I'm not sure. Do you know, John, when it's scheduled?
I don't think they've announced it, so they're still in their process right now of they just finished the first round of votes last week. They're now doing the token swaps with those projects to collateralize their token reactors, and then they're in the process of standing up those token reactors. My guess is it'll be at least a few weeks of getting those token reactors set up, and I don't think they'll do the second core event until after the first token reactors have been up and working. So I don't know for sure. I don't think they've announced the date, but it's probably at least 3 or 4 weeks away minimum.
Okay, so this is something I want to pay attention to and try to get a lot of people to participate in. Essentially, if enough people that hold the token vote for Fox when this next round of voting occurs, if we get into the top 5 of the people, then of the projects, then a Fox token reactor gets established. The reason this is cool is because very few of these exist. So being first comes with a lot of advantage just in terms of eyeballs on it. And Tokenomics can significantly increase the liquidity of the Fox token. So just personally, I'm going to be watching this very carefully. And if you want to participate in this or you want to be involved, a key here is that the votes are not all equal. If you have tokens, each one will give you 1 vote. But if you stake them into various contracts, you can get 4x or 8x votes. So that leverage is just massive. And what this basically means is it doesn't matter if you have the tokens. What matters is how many tokens you're staking. So I'm going to probably get a bunch of these tokens and vote for Fox in whatever highly leveraged way I can at the time of the event. And obviously, we'll talk more about it as a DAO as that date approaches. But it's something that could really pay a lot of dividends for Fox if we get into that next batch of 5. So that's all.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for mentioning that, and appreciate you keeping an eye on this and doing what you can to support it. agreed. This would be very valuable for ShapeShift, and anything we can do to help make sure that Fox is elected, I think will be worthwhile. And they had mentioned earlier too, things like that Alchemix did, like giving an NFT to everybody who votes for Fox. Something that does not have to cost the DAO a lot at all, but can definitely move the needle in terms of getting the community to support us.
I agree too, Willie. I like this idea. It takes a lot sometimes to get my attention, but that call did get my attention. I like what they're trying to do in the space. I see it as an alternative and something new, like Eric just said as well. I think that it can add a lot of value if done the right way. And I definitely, I joined their Discord channel or their server, and I'll definitely start getting more involved and, try to help this as much as possible. I see it as a big benefit, and I agree with what you, yourself, John has said, and Eric as well, and Josh might have something to say in a second too. Definitely. So, yep. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, guys. I really appreciate that because, like I said, it takes a lot sometimes to get on my radar, but this definitely got on my radar, and I'll follow through with it.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks,
I
Neverwas.
appreciate that. Never was. I think that's a great way to add value to the community here is to increase our presence over there and do what we can. Is the other thing that I understand that what anybody can do? First step is buy the token, TOKE. Just buy it on Uniswap or your favorite decentralized exchange. Does anybody know if it's offered on a centralized exchange? I would guess not, but if it is, we should spread that word amongst our community.
I think I saw when Willie sent me a link in the chat. It was about $40-something per token, from what I remember looking at it real quick this little earlier. But I didn't see the exchanges that it was on. But that's the next step I'm going to take is start looking into that as well.
Yeah, I think it's only DEXs right now.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, and then once we have the token, then we just go to tokenomic.xyz. Was that the website? And that's where we can stake it?
Exactly. And the staking yield, I think it's like 70% or something right now. It's a pretty good yield. And if you stake it, each token will be worth 4x. We'll give you 4 votes. If you provide token ETH liquidity pool tokens and then stake those, there's a good yield, and that will give you 8x voting power.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neverwas. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Eric. Any other thoughts on Tokenomics or questions? Cool, because we're running low on time. Next hot topic is related to the next round of liquidity mining. It's going to be utilizing GUnit for future liquidity mining program. The cool thing, basically, what GUnit does, as far as I understand, is that right now, if you provide liquidity on Uniswap v3, you get an NFT, which is non-fungible and isn't easy to use for things like liquidity mining. But what GUnit does is it wraps these NFTs into a ERC20, and which makes it easier for liquidity mining. The downside is that you don't necessarily get all the benefits of V3 because the way that it provides liquidity is just like V2 from infinity to infinity. So definitely interesting and something that we need to understand better before we can make an informed decision. So DeFi Dave is interested in joining us at the next office hours to give us an overview of GUnit, as well as some of the other cool tokenomics things that Gelato, which is the project that makes GUnit, offers. And last but not least that I have on this upcoming tokenomics initiatives list is a proposal from Index Co-op for treasury diversification. This one is being drafted, and basically the goal of it is like a way for the treasury to diversify from Fox into DPI, which is the Index Co-op's token that tracks the top DeFi projects, and doing it in a way with minimal price impact to Fox. So TBD how that goes. I told them that I'm not very interested personally in any kind of proposal that would involve the DAO, like just selling Fox on the open market for other assets. But if they have creative ways that, which it sounds like they do, where Fox can be traded for DPI in a way that does not impact the market, then that is something that we might be interested in. Ultimately, it's up to the community, though. I told them that too. All right. So those are all of the initiatives I'm aware of. I'm sure there's more. Again, if there's any other initiatives that are tokenomics related that anyone thinks are important to be brought up, please share those. But otherwise, yeah, as you can see, we've got some broad, some specific, and some just broader tokenomics initiatives that it'd be great if the tokenomics workstream could explore these, prioritize them, make recommendations to the community, and then help push all these forward and bring the best tokenomics initiatives to reality. So I wanted to ask the group, what do you guys, does anyone have any ideas? Like, what do you guys think is the best way to structure this tokenomics workstream? And like the follow-up question to that is like, is there anybody who is here on the call that might be even interested in applying to be a leader of this workstream? If you're potentially interested, but don't want to stand up right now, send me a DM and we can definitely chat with no pressure about what it could look like. And I'm really hoping that whoever's interested in this could help figure out like what should this workstream look like? Is it a full-time role? Does the workstream need full-time roles, or is it better off kind of like how we've been doing it now, just collaborating with the community and maybe creating bounties as necessary, like we did to get the fair drop in the liquidity mining round 2 done? Anyone have any strong feelings on that or thoughts? Are we happy with how the tokenomics workstream has just kind of casually been getting stuff done?
I definitely have some thoughts on this, but I think this meeting is a good kind of kickoff of starting to get these office hours going. I think we should have a few more of these. I know you're planning to do these bi-weekly, Willie, so I think getting a few of these going and having more of these discussions with the community will probably give us a better idea of what it is that we're looking to do and the best way to structure this. I think there should be more structure. I don't know that it should necessarily be full-time and full-time people working on this, but there should be people who are actively working on tokenomics and thinking about these things. It's a super important aspect of the DAO and the token overall. But yeah, I don't have much more to add on that at the moment. Also, I think Willie, you, I, and Eric have to go get ready for this Olympus call starting in a few minutes.
Yeah, we might have to wrap up early because we do have to hop to this call at 4 or immediately afterwards in the Olympus DAO community. But thanks, John. That helps, and I agree completely. I think I'm happy to keep doing these biweekly office hours until another leader emerges, and agree that we could use some more structure here. But I'm not quite sure like how to best structure it, and would appreciate any ideas from the community on how to do this. I think we can figure this one out together. In the meantime, I will definitely keep pushing forward all this stuff as much as I can. But again, anyone who wants to not only just be a workstream leader, but also just participate in stuff in any of this, feel free to reach out and we can maybe start having even smaller tokenomics meetings where a group that's really active and dedicated to figuring this stuff out can brainstorm, and then we can take what we find to the broader community. Open to any ideas. So if you have them, please share. Thanks everybody for joining the first tokenomics office hours. This has been great. Appreciate everyone who joined on stage and added to the discussion, as well as everyone who just attended. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks for the next one, or I'll see you in the Olympus DAO Discord right after this for an AMA that we're doing with Eric, John, and I in the Olympus DAO community.
Yeah, see y'all over there. I got to go chat with them a few minutes beforehand, but yeah, see you in a few minutes all. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.